When I was in my waking up process trying to watch every single video I could get my hands on, I stumbled upon this very interesting interview with ex-Bethelites.
In fact, I remember at Pioneer School, because I went to Pioneer School before I went to Bethel, the brother said, if any of you ever had the chance to go to Bethel, you're going to see even governing body members, branch committee members making really big mistakes. And it's going to be up to you to realize Jehovah's in charge here and not to let those things stumble you out of the organization. And I saw, like, I have stories that I could share, for days about mistakes I saw men make, and especially like governing body members and branch committee members.
Wait, what? He has stories about mistakes at the governing body level? The dumb interviewer didn't ask anything about this to my dismay, because even now I have never heard experiences and stories from a lot of sources. But I haven't heard proper stories about mistakes at the leadership level since Raymond France. I obviously wanted to know more. So I got very excited when I heard this.
I'm just starting to watch your channel, so it's amazing what you're contributing to the ExJW community as well. So,
well, thank you.
So he has a YouTube channel where he talks about all this stuff? I immediately rushed to the link below, excited at the possibility of binge watching the experiences of someone who had been living and working in the heart of this cult for years. But unfortunately, what I found was this: the channel was gone. Deleted from YouTube. It had been over a year since the original interview when I watched it, so it wasn't too surprising, but even after I looked up his name and his channel in the internet database, I wasn't able to find a single one of his videos, and I got extremely disappointed. I really wanted to watch his videos and know his stories. But even today, I have never seen any of his videos surface, or even him again, for that matter. It's been several years since I found that ex-Jehovah's Witness with a lost channel, and since then, I've been on the other side. I've been there to see channels born, rise, and die, and I bet you know the first one.
Harrison COVID is no longer one of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Harrison Cawthor is an ex-Jehovah's Witness YouTuber that started posting videos as I was waking up. And since he alternated between ex-Jehovah's Witness content and atheist content, and since he made very well-researched and well-presented videos, his views immediately skyrocketed. One of his earliest videos, Noah's Ark, the story that disproves the entire Bible, has 1.5 million views, a kind of success that is extremely hard to get when you are in a tiny niche like us ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. I have to admit that he was one of my inspirations to start making YouTube videos. I felt like most of the ex-Jehovah's Witness content at the time consisted of just some dude with no script or preparation recording himself reacting to propaganda. And while I ended up doing exactly that in my live streams, I wanted to focus on deep analysis of propaganda to not just understand the indoctrination, but to understand how it works, why it worked on me, and where it came from. Those 3 questions are the questions that I've used to build my channel around, and I don't think I would have had this deep approach if it hadn't been for Harrison. However, in December of 2023, he came out publicly with what a few had already figured out were his misogynist views. We had seen some misogynist views from him before. I wasn't too worried. I know that waking up is a whole process and takes people time. When I realized that I was in a cult, I didn't immediately disregard my homophobic or transphobic views. It took me months of research and deconstruction to become a person who didn't harbor those deep negative feelings. So I reached out, letting him know with as much tact as possible that I didn't think that way of thinking was right. He pretty much just thanked me for reaching out. That's pretty much what I hoped to happen. He wasn't going to change his mind just because I sent him a text, but hopefully that would help him identify some blind spots and learn what he needed to learn. But it turned out he learned the opposite of what he needed to learn when he posted this tweet. Exactly, the older I get, the more this resonates with me and the more obvious it becomes. Wife stays home with my kids. Why would I marry a woman, then send her to an office to be some other guy's work wife, and send my kids to a preschool to be raised by some other woman? How messed up that is! This is obviously extremely possessive and misogynist rhetoric, removing every agency of the woman and treating her like property for the gratification of men only. But he didn't stop there. He went full red pill, literally. He changed his Twitter handle to the Red Pill 94 and started posting a lot of red pill propaganda. If you don't know what the red pill is, first of all, bless your heart, I wish I was you, but it's a term that comes from the Matrix movies, which I know Harrison is very fond of. The red pill, or taking the red pill, is a term that was very popular about a decade ago online and stopped being relevant like 5 years ago. It refers to how Neo chooses the red pill to discover the true nature of existence, instead of remaining in comfortable ignorance. Even though the movie was made by transgender directors with transgender allegories, the term was adopted by pretty much the culturally opposite of them: patriarchy defenders, the manosphere, and the alt-right groups. This ideology centers around anti-feminism, arguing that women are actually more oppressed now than when they could only become someone's wife and not vote. It's based on extremely traditional gender dynamics, very reminiscent of the gender dynamics in the Jehovah's Witnesses, where they promote the idea that men should dominate and women should remain servile, sometimes even promoting things like hypergamy, and always believing in the most ridiculous conspiracies to explain why science doesn't agree with them and the imaginary organization that's against them when they post something on Twitter and people go like, wait, what the fuck is this? Harrison, in a conversation that's now gone, recommended I consume propaganda from both, I kid you not, Alex Jones and David Icke. Alex Jones is a grifter conspiracy theorist with unhinged ideas.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay!
He has been deplatformed for years now, after he lost a ton of his credibility among his followers when he testified that he was just playing a character for the show to try to win a custody battle. And David Icke is even crazier. Do you know that conspiracy theory that says that the world is governed by Illuminati reptile humanoids? That's his theory. He came up with that one. He also believes that the moon and Saturn have been used as mind-controlling devices. He's a Zionist conspiracy believer, and obviously believes in Atlantis and other ancient and lost advanced civilizations. Remember when I said all this stuff has stopped being relevant 5 years ago? That's because people started debunking everything people like that said, which pretty much started a whole new niche on YouTube, usually referred to as BreadTube. These guys have been debunked by people all over the world to exhaustion. So much so that they aren't even talked about by netizens anymore. They were replaced by people like Jordan Peterson.
The rat goes like this.
Or Andrew Tate, who has since then fallen off too. Or with QAnon, which has also fallen off. That's how long it has been. This whole patriarchy movement has been losing steam consistently, and more people cringe at concepts of alpha male or ridiculous conspiracy theorists. And while they're still relevant in the far-right spheres, they're not part of the general meta anymore. So how could Harrison buy all of these conspiracy theories which have been long debunked? Well, I believe that when you wake up from a cult, you have two choices. You either realize that your whole worldview was wrong and go through the lengthy process of admitting you're wrong and changing how you see the world, getting rid of all of these damaging ideas. Or you find an excuse to keep believing the things you believed in before. I've made a video about this, but when you wake up from a cult and realize that your worldview is wrong, you leave a void in your mind. After all, you need to figure out how to process the world around you, and if you're not careful and make sure that your new worldview comes from facts, you might end up being affected by your remaining indoctrination. For example, if you were raised in a fundamentalist cult, you might realize that they were lying to you about evolution, but you might not realize that they were also lying to you about male supremacy. So when you find a new worldview around men's supremacy that is okay with evolution, that will very likely be attractive to you because it will resonate with your remaining indoctrination that you haven't gotten rid of. And look, I am being an armchair psychologist here. If this proved anything, was that I didn't really know Harrison, and I don't want to pretend like I know him now. However, as I said, waking up is a long process. I hope he finds his way, and although he blocked me and everyone else before deleting his account, I still hope maybe one day we can have a conversation about our beliefs, even if they're not the same. JW Review with John Maple is a YouTube channel with extremely well-edited videos debunking vital Jehovah's Witness doctrines. Unlike most channels out there, his videos were not only well-edited but also released both in English and Spanish to try to reach as many viewers as possible. John Maple started on YouTube trying to debunk apostate material as a believing Jehovah's Witness. He believed he could be a Jehovah's Witness fighting apostasy on their grounds. Instead, what he found ended up waking him up, and he started making the videos that he was trying to debunk before. His videos, all about entry-level apostate stuff, immediately got love from the ex-Jehovah's Witness communities in English and Spanish. I have friends who speak Spanish who saw his videos while they were in their waking up process. He was also an inspiration when I was trying to figure out how to make videos. He's the one who gave me the idea to use an avatar, and not just an avatar, one animated in Adobe Character Animator. He made very polished videos that I only hope to be able to do one day, and his stuff is still relevant today. I did connect him after he stopped making videos, and he told me that he was waiting until he could show his face to keep making videos. I was also glad to know that he was as much of a stoner as me. That was a couple of years ago though, so I hope he just moved on to greener pastures after he finished leaving the religion.
This is Fifth, and you're watching the ExJW Fifth YouTube channel.
ExJW Fifth, it's a channel led by Fifth, a man who spent his whole life in the cult, becoming a Bethelite and realizing while he was at the heart of this cult that the cult was all a lie. And unlike most channels, where most videos consist on someone telling you whatever they want to tell you, Fifth focused more on interviews. And the interviews that he got were amazing. Besides publishing his ExJW story in English, Spanish, and Portuguese, he mainly interviewed fascinating people like other former Bethelites that told their story giving tours in Bethel and even writing the material inside the magazines. He interviewed Kevin McCree, the creator of Dubtown, and Jason Wine, the founder of AWOL.org. Some of his last interviews included amazing people like cult specialist Dr. Jan Jelalik, who has been in multiple cult documentaries, and Barbara Anderson, a Bethelite who found out about the CSA issues inside the religion and started doing activism in the mid-90s, being among the first to get the news to pay attention to this sinister cult. Her work, by the way, is why I feel pretentious to call these videos activism, because I will never achieve even a fraction of what her, an actual activist, has achieved. And after dropping some of the best and most interesting interviews in the whole ExJW niche, he moved on. You can now follow him on @5thOfficial on YouTube and @OfficialTheFifth on Instagram, where he's pursuing his rapping career. And he's amazing too. The beats you've been listening to are all from him, and there are some lyrics that will resonate a lot with some ex-Jehovah's Witnesses.
They would rather see me homeless in the witness than woke and self-sufficient. Hoping I might come back for my siblings, knowing I'm missing. Hey yo, my family don't acknowledge my existence. I'm thinking, hey, that's the cost of doing business.
Listen to the whole track down below. It's called Cost of Doing Business, and it's a banger. And if you're wondering why he stopped uploading videos, maybe the next ExJW can help us understand. Mentally Diseased is a channel that embraced the term mentally diseased that was used to describe apostates at one point. The host, Germ, was extremely charismatic in camera, making his videos very easy to watch. Plus, his style was very polished too, with good editing and lighting. His videos shared his story about growing up as a gay man inside this homophobic cult. He interviewed his mom, who shunned him for a while for being gay, talked about how useless Jehovah's Witnesses books actually are, and has a criminally underwatched video on Michael Jackson called Michael Jackson and the Doomsday Cult, where he talks about how Jackson was impacted for being raised as a Jehovah's Witness, an area of his life that's pretty much unexplored in every documentary and video about his life I have ever seen. However, it was his video. Why can't ExJWs just get over it? that has lived rent-free in my head for 3 years. In this video, he explores the questions that you'll get if you'll produce apostate material for long enough. Why don't you just get over it? Which basically means, why don't you just leave quietly and immediately? In the video, he breaks down the ExJW community and highlights the importance of having one. But he also says this.
It is a support group. It is transitory, and with any support group, the ultimate goal is for a vast majority of the people to move on from it. So I have to start by agreeing with you. Everyone should move on. That is the ultimate goal. We all want to enjoy our freedom and live our lives as if Watchtower were never part of it. That's what we're trying to do here. And it works. You will see a lot of people who are very active in the community for a year or two and, then they go their own way. It's not a monolith. People are coming and going all the time. Watchtower is a building. Picture it as an actual building. Freedom is outside, and the ExJW community is the revolving door at the entrance, helping people to get out.
When I heard that, I had just woken up, and up until that point, I had thought that before I was a Jehovah's Witness, and now I was an ex-Jehovah's Witness. It didn't even occur to me that I could achieve the life that I would have had without this cult. But that, if anything, should be the goal. The ExJW community is exactly like a revolving door of people going through their indoctrination process on the way out of the cult, and at the end, the goal is to leave fully, to never think about this cult again. Which is why he stopped making content. In what I remember to be a Discord message, but after talking to Jake about it, I'm no longer sure, he said that he had just accepted the fact that he wasn't going to make another video and decided to move on from it fully, or something to that effect. Like I said, I couldn't track the quote down, but since then, his channel has remained inactive. I do follow him on Instagram, where he posts cute photos of his cats and of him living his best life, and I just feel as happy for him as I do for Fifth. They've made it out. They're truly out. Self-Aware NPC was a channel hosted by a female-presented character, so I'll be using she/her pronouns for this section, even though I don't actually know who was behind the channel. She uploaded her first video in November 2021, just a few months after I started uploading videos. However, they were just drawing time-lapse videos with music, and it wasn't until the second half of 2022 that she uploaded her first video with narration. In this video, that would be the first of 5 parts, she narrates some of what she suffered inside of the religion, telling childhood stories that helped her wake up later. The style was so honest and gentle, yet raw, and I ended even tearing up with one of her videos. However, her next video, Jehovah's Witnesses, Artwork, Videos, and Childhood Trauma, was an excellent video essay that went for over 40 minutes talking about the artwork this cult makes for children, how that impacted her childhood, and how damaging the propaganda in general is for children. I loved this video because it was both very enlightening and very personal. Here was a person willing to tell us deep, personal stories to better understand the wrinkles of indoctrination in this religion, a subject that is pretty much undocumented in science. When Toni Morris got removed, she was quick to put out a video where she didn't just talk about the fact that Toni Morris was removed, she doesn't even speculate in it either. The video points out how Toni Morris was only the 4th governing body member to be removed in history, comparing the other 3 to Toni Morris in another insightful video. And she was the very first one to make a video informing about the purging of Toni Morris videos from JW.org, informing us of where they were archived for us to keep watching them anyway. I invited her over to my channel for a live stream or a collab, reaching her on her Instagram page. She refused to live stream, but she left the door open for a collab and gave me her email, since she told me she was going to close her Instagram account soon. Just last year, she sent me an email before the annual meeting with the leaked information on how to watch it, in case I didn't have it already. And no, I did not have it already, because as far as I know, she was the very first one to leak the access. We never properly had a chance to chat behind the scenes, but I mean, We had pretty much the same amount of subscribers, we were growing at the same rate, and she was a female animated character to hide her real identity fighting for this apostate cause. I obviously felt like she was sort of my YouTube sister, even if I didn't really know her. I was just happy to see her commenting on live streams, like when I live stream about the deleted convention videos, and she gave me the idea on stream to upload those videos without commentary to see if Watchtower would copyright claim them on YouTube. And although they did try to claim one of my videos later, they never claimed those 2 videos, which are still up on my channel today thanks to her. That's why I was very surprised when, in mid-February, her channel disappeared. She uploaded 2 videos, one with a leaked clip from a JW.org vid, and the other video, a video apparently teasing some project she was working on. And then her channel was gone. I reached out a couple of times to her on Gmail, but her Gmail also seems to have been abandoned and purged, along with her Buy Me a Coffee page, which she used to get donations. And although most of her videos are mirrored online if you know where to look, I feel weird telling you where to go watch them or bring in any attention to them because I don't know why she took them down. This looks really sinister. So why would she do that? Let's examine it. Well, obviously, the most sinister explanation is that Watchtower found her and threatened her with disfellowshipping and with outing her as an apostate to her believing social circle. However, I just feel that's very unlikely to happen since none of her videos had any incriminating information, and I just don't think Bethel monitors apostates that close. She could have closed her account because she became a believing Jehovah's Witness again. Nah, that obviously literally never happens, especially not after you know what she knew about the religion. But I like to think that what she wanted was just to close that chapter of her life. I don't know what happened to her, but I'd like to think that she just got in uni or went to pursue her dreams elsewhere, and she just didn't want to have a constant reminder of her time in the cult. I'd like to think she's now drawing other stuff and she's busy becoming who she was meant to be. Because, like Germ said, that's the goal after all. That's why I want to end this video slightly differently today, especially if you're watching me as an ex-Jehovah's Witness. Of course, I want to thank my supporters who helped me do this and tell you to subscribe and hit that like button and all that stuff. After all, not only ex-Jehovah's Witnesses watch my content, I have many viewers who are simply curious about those topics, and if they like them, they can support me forever and ever. There are new videos every week that are only possible by my patrons over here. And if you're not an ex-Jehovah's Witness, this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. It's time to click away to some other video, hopefully one from my channel. Bye. Okay, are they gone now? Is it just ex-Jehovah's Witnesses now? Cool. I hope you don't subscribe, or I hope you don't subscribe to my channel forever. I hope you don't support me on Patreon forever. I hope you don't watch my videos forever. I hope you know when to recognize that you've learned all you need to learn about this cult and when it's time to move on. Because at the end of the day, you already realized that you weren't supposed to be a Jehovah's Witness, but that also means you weren't supposed to be an ex-Jehovah's Witness either. You were supposed to be yourself. And the longer you remain an ex-Jehovah's Witness, the longer this cult still has a hold on you, and the less time you'll have to become who you were supposed to be. I'm on my way there. It's just taking a little bit longer than I thought. And maybe you'll see my last video on my channel next year or whatever and tell other ex-Jehovah's Witnesses about me just as I told you about them just now. But maybe you're realizing that your time is now. And if you do, I hope you unsubscribe. I hope you abandon your ex-Jehovah's Witness account. I hope you forget about me and about other apostates and about this cult that has hurt you so much. And instead, I hope you spend all of your life trying to find yourself. I hope you find who you were supposed to be. And I hope you're happy.